Hello Year 4, welcome to today's literacy lesson. Have your online learning packs at the ready and don't forget to use the pause button whenever you need to.
Right, then let's take a look at today's target and success criteria. Today we're going to be working on something called subordinating conjunctions. Don't panic, they're just really big words to mean something really quite simple, which I'll explain as we go through. So our success criteria, so that we can hit that target, is to understand what the word subordinate means, which I will explain to you in a little minute. Then we're going to be able to identify a main clause in a sentence, as well as be able to identify a subordinate clause in a sentence. And the final thing that we're going to do is write our own sentences using subordinate clauses. Don't panic, as I said. We're going to start off with a little bit of fun, a little song all about conjunctions. Are you ready?
Hi, my name's Laura, and this is a song about conjunctions. See what I did there? That was a conjunction. We can use a conjunction to join up other words, to make a longer sentence, The dog is on the table, and the cat is on the chair. The dog is on the table, and the cat is on the chair. The and is the conjunction. It joins the groups of words. Without it, all our sentences would end up very short. Joining phrases together, linking words forever. Conjunctions are what we choose. Connecting words for me and you, as well as and we can use. But, for, with, or, they all help us join up other words. We can use a conjunction to specify a time when something happened, I was glad when you came. I was glad when you came. The when is the conjunction. It specifies the time. It helps us understand what made the person glad. Joining phrases together, linking words forever. Conjunctions are what we choose. Connecting words for me and you, as well as when we can use while, until, before, after. They all specify a time. Conjunctions can also specify a cause. Why something happened, I was tired because it was late. I was tired because it was late. Because is the conjunction. It specifies the cause. It helps us understand what made the person tired. Joining phrases together, linking words forever. Conjunctions are what we choose. Connecting words for me and you, as well as because we can use if, so, as, yet. They all specify a cause. The conjunction where can specify a place where something happened, She found the book where he left it. She found the book where he left it. Where is the conjunction? It joins the sentence up, linking up two actions that happened in one place. Joining phrases together, linking words forever. Conjunctions are what we choose. Connecting words for me and you. Joining phrases together, linking words forever. Conjunctions are what we choose. Connecting words for me and you. Link things up, link things up. Conjunctions can help us all to link things up, link things up, link things up. Conjunctions can help us all to link things up.
Hope you enjoyed that and hope it's refreshed your memory on what conjunctions in general are. So let's start our work on subordinate conjunctions then by looking at the word subordinate. So here I have a page from the Cambridge Dictionary online that I've borrowed, and it shows us that the word subordinate is an adjective, it's a describing word, and it means that something or someone has a lower or less important position. So they might have a subordinate role in school. So I am, as a teacher, I am subordinate to Mrs. Parks, who's the head teacher. She's more important in school than I am. In a hospital, a doctor is more important than a nurse, so we would suggest that a nurse is subordinate to a doctor. Have a think. Can you think of any other things that are subordinate to others? So if the word subordinate means that something is less important than something else, what is a subordinating conjunction? Remembering that a conjunction is a word that connects two short sentences together into a big one, or two clauses within a sentence, a subordinating conjunction joins an important clause, the main focus of the sentence, with a subordinate clause which would never be able to stand as a sentence on its own. Here I have a perfectly good, simple sentence with one clause. I ran to the door. Here I've written another sentence. Because the doorbell rang. Does that sentence make sense? Hopefully you agree with me that because the doorbell rang does not make sense as a sentence by itself. It leaves me thinking, what happened because the doorbell rang? Did you fall over? Did the dog start barking? Did the house fall down? What happened because the doorbell started to ring? It doesn't give me the full picture. But look at this. If I bring both of those sentences together to make one long sentence, I ran to the door because the doorbell rang, suddenly I've got a full picture of what is happening. Each of those sentences has become a clause within a bigger sentence. I ran to the door is the main clause in the sentence because it would stand up on its own. It made sense as a sentence by itself. Because the doorbell rang is the subordinate clause. It's less important. It's there to add extra information for the reader, but it wouldn't stand up on its own as a full sentence as we saw earlier on. So it is less important than the main clause. So let's break that sentence down a little bit further then. We have the main clause, I ran to the door. We have the subordinating conjunction, because, and we have the subordinate clause, the doorbell rang. Right, to help you spot them a little bit more easily, here is a list of some subordinating conjunctions, not all of them by any means. So have a read down the list, take your time, and that will help you to identify the main clauses, the subordinating conjunction, and the subordinating clause within the sentences that you're about to look at. Have a look at this sentence. It has a main clause, it has a subordinating conjunction, and it has a subordinating clause. The excited pupils ran into school when the gate was opened. Just take a few minutes to have a think about which part of the sentence is which. Have a go at this one, see if you can identify the main clause, the subordinating conjunction, and the subordinate clause. The children wanted to carry on playing although the whistle had been blown. Here we go, then a shorter sentence this time, but it does still have a main clause, a subordinate clause, and a subordinating conjunction for you to identify. The sentence is, I played happily on the swing as the sun set. How did you do with that one? Hopefully you identified that I played happily on the swing is the main clause, as is the subordinating conjunction, and as the sun set is the subordinating clause. Right, here I've got a table. I've got a section that says main clause, a section that says subordinating conjunction, and a section that says subordinate clause. Your job is to put the three sentences that I have cunningly chopped up and mixed about back together so that they make sense, and they each have a main clause, they each have a subordinating conjunction, and they each have a subordinate clause. Have fun! How did you get on with that then? So here is how those three sentences should look. The cold wind blew as we walked home from the shops. Sentence number 2, I turned around quickly because there was a strange noise. And sentence number 3, we put on our Wellington boots before jumping in the muddy puddles. Hopefully you've been able to give yourselves 3 ticks because you were able to sort those sentences out correctly. Let's just check in with our target and success criteria and see how we're doing. So our target is to use subordinating conjunctions. Hopefully now when I say the word subordinating conjunctions, your face doesn't turn into one of horror. Do we understand what the word subordinate means? It means that something is less important than something else. Have you been able to identify the main clause in the sentences I've shown you? Have you been able to identify the subordinate clause in the sentences I've shown you? Hopefully the answers to all of those questions so far have been yes, which just leaves us to the very last of our success criteria, writing our own sentences with subordinate clauses. Here we go then. I've just selected 3 subordinating conjunctions so that you can write a sentence including each one. Take your time and have a go. Here are my 3 sentences using those 3 subordinating conjunctions, and they will probably give you an idea of what time of day Miss Dunn is recording this video for you. So my first sentence, I always like to have pudding after my tea. And the second one, I managed to eat an ice cream although I was quite full. And my third sentence, the children sat on a rug while they drank their squash. Now I don't expect you to have sentences that are exactly the same as mine, but as long as you have used the subordinating conjunctions in the correct manner, you can give yourselves a big massive tick. And if you can also write on your piece of paper just for fun what time of day you thought it was that Miss Dunn was recording the video, that would be awesome. One final check-in then with our target and success criteria. Just have a little reflect on what you've written, look back over it. Are you happy with it? Are you happy now with subordinating conjunctions? Give yourself a little think and then put the appropriate emoji at the bottom of your page. Well, I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed that literacy lesson. Don't forget, you can send your work to me by WhatsApp, by email, or drop it in the post box on your way past. Until I see you again, take care. See you soon.